Are there fixed loop in the future, or do we have some kind of generative content, whatever loops? And also what's interesting for me is you have developers in your company. What will be the future of code? Jason, let's start with the British part here. What do you think in times of content creation, generating playlists? What are your ideas? What do you have in mind? What do you see?
It's something we've already started working on. I think the thing we did to prepare for this is we built a parallel platform over the last 2 years, which we call Datasync Services, which is a completely different composable architecture that integrates in with Signagelive. And the whole premise of that is to bring in any external data source and create a common data set that we can then use to publish through third-party platforms to generate content. So in some instances, that is generating HTML5 applications. In others, it's creating videos. Where we're actually using AI is we're looking at the various generative AI platforms that allow us to augment the data and produce visual content, for example. So a good example is we've got native integration with SharePoint files or SharePoint News. So with SharePoint News, we can take news headlines, we can take the contextual content and generate supporting images that can then be approved and published to the network. The other areas that we're looking at as well is also using just relatively simple use cases, which I think I'd encourage all CMSs to look at, which is using AI to analyze the information that's coming into the platform, whether that be images, videos, things like auto tagging, etc., and moving away from people having to manually do that. If they're then matched with automated workflows, then that content can be auto-distributed to the devices. So full workflow for us is you've got content either being entered or data that's being turned into content that's being tagged in an appropriate way using AI and then auto-distributed to the sites. And they can be content videos, can be in different languages, different avatars that suit different personas in different countries. So I think the general message from our point of view around the content piece is that it's going to be an integral part of what we do going forwards.
Okay, now let's look at the development part, or there are two parts from my side. A prompt building part, how to design prompts for generative AI, and on the other side, what's interesting for me is developing code. As I said at the beginning, developers are rare, expensive. Do you have any kind of replacement already running?
No, I think it's definitely the co-pilot, not the pilot, which I think a lot of people are taking that position on AI. I think one of the big things as well, there was a recent study done by Cornell University on the code that was generated from ChatGPT. And one of the biggest challenges is security. Majority of the code that was generated would not pass any form of security discipline. The position we've taken in the organization, and we've got an AI policy across the business in terms of what to use and where, is effectively, by all means, from a personal point of view, play around with ChatGPT, do what you need to do, but by no means any form of sensitive data or any company information is to be shared. And there's been studies done where, even within organizations, they've tested by putting code up into ChatGPT or dummy code and then been able to pull that back out through questions within a very short period of time. So I think from our perspective, we've got our own suite of products that we use within the business. They've also been approved as part of our ISO 27001 posture. And if they in turn are bringing AI into play, then we're encouraging the team to use those, whether that be the Microsoft development suites, whether it be the Amazon tools that we're using, the support. I think operationally AI is going to have a big part to play for us as well. And we're already now building out the next generation of our support stack through live chat, which services every ticket and every help center article that we've ever generated as an organization. And again, it's the co-pilot, not the pilot. We're not trying to replace the person who's on there, but we're trying to upskill them with suggestions on answers for customers to actually provide that customer with a far better experience.
So it's about not replacing the developers. It's more to improving their skills. And on the other side, to use third-party libraries, which bring
exactly. And I think also there's a big part to play when it comes to QA as well, and regression testing. I think there's a big opportunity there.
What do you think about the political or ethnical stuff? If you look at this side, using artificial intelligence for generating content, code, manipulating customers, there's also some kind of ethical rules, or do you have some kind of discussions inside your company about that?
Choose your AI partners wisely in terms of the language models. There's organizations that are launching every day that are providing filtered plagiarism-proof platforms as well for generative AI. So I think it's just, if you're going to rely on OpenAI or Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or one of the platforms you can log in and use every week, then I think you're going to run a risk. But so yeah, if you're going to get involved, make sure you choose someone who's reputable that can stand behind what's being produced. There's no such thing as original thought, just the design or mutation. And I think there is an element of that. If we can think about it as humans, then ultimately AI can do the same. What we're looking to do is then to make sure there is no plagiarism, there is no challenge in terms of patents. But AI isn't taking that same level of responsibility. So if you just pass it through and say, we've developed this, you run the risk.
Thank you very much from your point of view, because I thought, okay, maybe the developers will be irrelevant in the future, but it's true what you say, but you must be sure that it is your code and you own it and it's invented in your company. That's very important.
One final part, what I remember, it was actually Mark, our CTO, put something on Slack the other day, which just said, don't worry, guys, our jobs are all safe because the customer's got to know what they want in the first place to be able to tell ChatGPT what to do. So there is an element, kind of tongue-in-cheek, but there is an element of that as well. Got to know what you want, know what the objective is in order to actually produce the content.